All America, all the time. Sit down, buckle up, and get ready for the Dan Bongino Show.
Man, it's good to be back with you all. Do you see it? Now, do you see it? Do you see the demoralization op I told you about? Do you remember when I first came back? What was it, 6 months ago now? Whatever. When I first came back, I told you I had seen things now from the inside, having gone outside, inside, and now back to the outside again. How there was a massive demoralization op going on in the MAGA sphere, meant to crush the most successful renaissance of conservative politics under the leadership of Donald Trump we've seen since the Reagan era. Now do you see it? There was a little gathering going on, there's a new movement brewing. No, there's no movement. Your movement was completely shut down. You guys were humiliated. Now do you see what I'm talking about? The demoralization op, where liberals, their media allies, their socialist buddies, and Folex MAGA. You know what a Folex is? Folex is a fake Rolex. Remember in New York in Times Square in the 80s before Rudy Giuliani cleaned it up? The guy had opened up his trench coat. Hey, you want to buy a Rolex? We used to call him in New York a Folex, a fake Rolex. Folex MAGA, fake MAGA. Do you see now how they're spouting the exact same talking points as the liberals and the media to demoralize and fracture the movement? Now do you see it? And how many times do we have to be right? By the way, we got some new shirts for you. If you're interested, if your thing. Hat tip Paula for putting this together, and happy birthday. You are the greatest thing that ever happened. It was yesterday. Love you to death. Same birthday as my father, too, so happy birthday, Dad, too. You're amazing. If you want the new shirts, we have 1776 store.bongino.com, and it is finally available due to popular demand to recognize all of the moron, imbecile SIACs out there. What are the SIACs, you ask? P1s wouldn't be asking that question. However, if you are new to the show, SIAC stands for Stupid is a Choice, which is now on a shirt. But don't worry, there's a warning on the back, too. We've never done, Jasmine, this is our first two-sided shirt, right? Don't be stupid. So there you go. That shirt is now available at store.bongino.com. In addition to this shirt, 1776, 150 years of excellence. Kicking ass, taking names, store.bongino.com. I hope you all enjoyed Sean Farris. Super excited for the launch of his show on our network here, rumble.com/Sean, right? SHAWN, starting August 17th. Sean's the best. We love him. He really gets it. I am really happy to be back, so let's get to the show. I'm not going to do a huge, long weekend update. I'll tell you where I was quick, and I got to get right into it. The demoralization op, Fauci. I've been gone a week. It feels like it's been 10 years. Hey, it feels like our country finally has some momentum again. So many of us fighting to restore common sense and America first and the agenda. But we've seen this before. Conservatives get comfortable and the left starts taking back ground inch by inch by inch. They're not going anywhere. They do this all the time. We can't let that happen. America needs every one of us in the fight. We also have to support companies that support our movement and have been there when times are tough. That's why I'm proud and have been proud to partner with a great company I use, Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile gives you premium priority nationwide service on any of the three major U.S. networks, so you get the coverage you need, plus unlimited data plans, mobile hotspots, international roaming, and a 100% U.S.-based customer service support team. Switching is easy. Paula did it for my phone and hers. Guy has the service. We all love it. Keep your phone, keep your number, activate Patriot Mobile in just minutes. But Patriot Mobile is more than just a great wireless service. Patriot Mobile supported a growing number of Americans defending faith, freedom, family, and the future of the country. They donate millions every year to organizations fighting for our freedoms because they care and they have. The owners of this company are amazing. Go to patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. Make the switch today. Use promo code Dan. You'll get a free month of service too. That's patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT and make the switch today. Fantastic service. All right, Guy, let's go. Feels good to hear that bell again. The news cycle was a little bit intense last week. The news season hasn't been great overall, but last week was like the worst week ever. But quickly, I was over in the Napa Lake Tahoe region. A very, very dear friend of mine, his daughter got married. Congratulations to the couple. He's just an amazing guy. So we went out there. It's just incredible that Napa has to be in California which is like the communist epicenter of the United States right now. It's a real shame. It's such a beautiful place. We were on the Nevada side of Lake Tahoe, also beautiful. I'd never been out there before. That's where the wedding was, just incredible. So congratulations to Andrea and Teddy. Really beautiful wedding. And it's just good to see kind of, young people finding love and marriage and family. I mean, that's where it's at. So I said to you opening up in the show, now do you see the demoralization op? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get to this in a little more detail later in the show because I got a lot to cover. However, I've been warning you since I came back. The doomers, the grifters, the losers, the ones being sued for defamation, the ones being called out every day for like known bullshit lies, and then they just spout another lie. They're doing this for a reason. It's intentional. They're combining with liberals, their media allies, and the socialists in this kind of new unholy alliance. They're combining with Islamo radicals and nut jobs too, in order to fracture the most successful Republican movement since Ronald Reagan, and that is this MAGA movement, this Make America Great Again movement that has produced incredible results from the border to crime to a growing, flourishing economy. They have produced all of this, and they can't have it. They hate it. You might say to yourself, oh, why do they hate it? Because they see themselves losing power and influence to this growing number of grassroots people who identify with Donald Trump's MAGA movement, and they don't like it. They want to feel like they're in charge. They're into this old, like, if I lose power, everyone loses power, and I'm going to take the whole thing down with me. It's a nihilistic movement and has been from the start. Now, there are only really two criteria to join this movement, the demoralization op against MAGA, the Folex MAGA. One is doomerism. No matter what Donald Trump and the administration do, always play it down. Oh, nobody cares about that. And then nothing is happening. That you see it over and over again. Nearly every Trump cabinet official, sub-cabinet official, Donald Trump himself, it's going to hit JD and Marco soon too, if 2028 heats up. There is going to be this effort to say nothing is happening. Why? Well, it's very simple, because if people start to see what's happening and it gets out there, people are going to be happy about what's happening. So what do? Whatever you say, they play it down. The border's been shut. Oh, it sucks. They're not doing anything. You see it all the time. You got to learn to recognize the grift. So number one, demoralizing doomerism is the criteria. You never, ever celebrate a victory, ever. Play them down and always do, well, there should be something else happening. The second criteria is hatred of the Jews, hatred of evangelicals, and hatred of Protestants too. You're going to see this now. You're going to see it now start to fester like a cancer. As long as you meet those two criteria, they use the first to demoralize you and the second to use anger to generate a result, which is for you to vote for anything other than this MAGA movement. The anger they generate is the Jews did it, the Protestants did it, the evangelicals did it. Folks, bookmark the show, man. I'm almost never wrong on this stuff. I've seen this coming. I saw it from the inside. I've seen it from the outside in the past. It's happening. More on this coming up later. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, this show is always going to be on the side of results, spreadsheets, and liberty. That's it. We are not going to ever align with a movement that attacks people for their religion, no matter what it is. We are never going to be on the side of a movement that gets lost in emotions and divorces itself from results. You can kiss my ass if you're in that movement. Because I told you, count me out of that movement. I don't want anything to do with that. Flags in the chat. Man, big audience today. 35,000, only 10 minutes in. Big audience, except for in New York, there's Stewie Thompson's. Coming up later. Stewie Thompson's back. Folks, regarding the demoralization ops and elsewhere, faith in institutions has been destroyed, and I get it, over the last probably 15 years, maybe more. No one did more to destroy faith in institutions than Barack Obama and Joe Biden. They just decimated it. And you're seeing doomers leverage that to make you believe that the people you pick to fix these institutions that are doing it are in fact sitting back and contributing to the problem themselves, which is total bullshit. I can make a case to you, and I'm sorry I wasn't here last week to discuss this. I wanted to so bad, that there isn't a single person in modern history that has done more damage to faith in medical institutions, government, and bureaucracy than Anthony Fauci. What a disgrace we all witnessed last week. just an embarrassing episode. And by the way, he has every constitutional right, as everyone else does, to not incriminate himself. But what concerns me is he went up there before and was so full of hubris and had his chest out and was so proud of himself. And then when he was given the opportunity to say things in his own defense, he punted. Hat-tip Matt Orfea, this is a clip that went nuclear this week. In case you forget, and you think this is in any way personal, which it is not. I don't know Fauci. Ironically, I ran into someone a long time ago, a friend of a friend of a friend, who grew up with him in the neighborhood. I think it was on Long Island somewhere. I forget, but said he's always been the same way. He's got this like short guy syndrome where he's always got to impress you and like he's the one-upper guy. He's the guy at that family party. You tell him you got a Cadillac, I got a Bentley. Well, I got a Bentley. Well, I got a super Bentley. I got a 35-foot boat. I got a 70-foot boat. That's Fauci. Folks, this guy did immeasurable damage. His endless BS about the results of vaccine studies, his endless BS about where the virus originated from, his endless BS about the effectiveness of masks, social distancing and closures. Hat tip or for this. I want you to remember, let's go back in time and see what all the BS Fauci spouted that later turned out to be total BS. Check this out.
We have to make sure we don't forget that the most important thing is to keep this 6-foot physical distance from individuals.
However, you testified recently, and I'm quoting, this 6-foot rule sort of just appeared.
Staying 6 feet away from people.
This 6-foot rule
Staying 6 feet apart.
crippled businesses,
Maintaining 6 feet of distance.
allowed students to stay at home and not learn.
It's so important. The perfect solution to this is if everyone stays 6 feet separated. 6 feet away. Stay 6 feet apart. 6 feet distance. 6-foot distance. 6 feet apart. 6 feet away. 6 feet away. That's our most important tool.
It had little to do with me since I didn't make the recommendation.
The usual 6 feet apart. Very important. 6-foot distance. Stay 6 feet apart. A 6-foot rule.
It actually came from the CDC, not me.
But I would recommend 6 feet of distance.
The 6-foot rule, the social distancing, which you said sort of just appeared.
The 6-foot rule, it's almost irrelevant. Almost irrelevant. Almost irrelevant.
It's so important. The social distancing of 6 feet. 6 feet or more. 6 feet. Stay 6 feet apart. 6 feet. 6 feet apart. The most important thing.
It's almost irrelevant.
The biggest thing.
Almost irrelevant.
The perfect solution.
Almost irrelevant.
If everyone at all times stays 6 feet separated.
You're right, folks in the chat. I think it was Brooklyn. Person I bet was on Long Island, but I think he's from Brooklyn. This guy was like a mad scientist. And it wasn't just that he was wrong. Listen, people in science and medicine are wrong about things all the time. I mean, folks, remember like thalidomide and all? People are wrong. It happens. It happens. It's not that he was wrong. That's not the thing. People are wrong all the time. It's that they were wrong. It was proven wrong. And they continued to double down in an act of unbelievable peacocking and chest puffery like I've never seen in my life that cost people life. I mean, do you know how many? Someone was telling me this weekend, I was at this wedding, about, what was it, their grandmother or their mother that passed alone in the hospital because nobody was allowed to see them because of this social distancing rule. Like there was a real life penalty for this, folks. This wasn't cost free. Like you made a bad decision about what brand of hamburgers to buy in the store. People died alone. People died who didn't have to die. Hundreds of thousands. The respirator thing. I mean, all of this stuff. It's not that they were wrong. People are wrong sometimes. We're fallible. There's only one perfect human being, Jesus Christ, and you ain't it. And neither am I. It's that they doubled down on wrong. And they doubled down on wrong in the face of, if you used reason and logic and common sense, you knew this was crazy. Masks, you were like, he's like, oh boy, here we go. Andy's only been here 6 months. Even he's like, masks. Everybody who wore a mask got COVID. It was the condom where every woman got pregnant despite the guy using it. It didn't work. And they were like, I got banned from YouTube. For all those people think like, I didn't fight this fight. I took on YouTube Direct. Little old me, I got banned. Cost us millions of dollars. I got wiped out by YouTube. We had 800,000 subscribers at the time. Put up that Reuters article. Sorry to go out of order. We fought this fight from the start on radio and elsewhere. Go look it up. We told everybody these masks don't work. YouTube permanently bans Fox News host Dan Bongino. For me telling, they warned us, don't say masks don't work. What did we do, Guy? Remember, we were right back on the show and we were like, masks don't work. They don't work. The cloth surgical mask did not work. Everybody knew it. The social distancing stuff, it was clownish. Remember the directionals in the supermarket? You walk this way. I used to walk the opposite way just to piss them off. Right? Key too. Because it was so stupid. And then the origins of the virus. Donald Trump comes out and says, hey man, this thing originated in Wuhan. Isn't there a virus laboratory in Wuhan studying these exact types of... The media's like, no, bro. No, it was definitely the pangolina. It was the pangolina, man. I know it's the pangolin. I get the point. But it's the pangolina. We're going to feminize words like in Spanish. It's the pangolina did it, bro. And everybody was like, wait, what? Now, if Donald Trump would have said it was the pangolina, they, of course, would have said the opposite. No, it was definitely the lab in China. Folks, it was so bad we had to bring back this ringer. I'm no fan of Jon Stewart. The guy's obviously a commie. But even Jon Stewart, the communist, went on Stephen Colbert and did this that should have even woken up the lefties. Like, Fauci's crazy. This stuff is nonsense. Remember this, Jim?
The disease is the same name as the lab. That's just a little too weird, don't you think? And then they ask the scientists, they're like, how did this... So wait a minute, you work at the Wuhan respiratory coronavirus lab. How did this happen? And they're like, a pangolin kissed a turtle? And you're like, no, the name of your lab. Wait. If you look at the name, let me see your business card. Show me your business card. Oh, I work at the coronavirus lab in Wuhan. Oh, because there's a coronavirus loose in Wuhan. How did that happen? Maybe a bat flew into the cloaca of a turkey and then it sneezed into my chili and now we all have coronavirus.
Guy's 100% right. He just popped out of the studio. He's like, the best part of this whole thing, the best part of the whole thing is Colbert, who's to the left of Vladimir Lenin, makes him look like he's a MAGA rep, right? Like a MAGA precinct organizer. Colbert, straight up commie, doesn't know what to do because everything Jon Stewart, who's a lefty himself, is saying is correct. The only reason that skit is even remotely funny is because it's all true. And Colbert's like, you can't tell my audiences they may wake up. We rely on their own stupidity. Remember gaslighting, lie often, lie confidently, and you have to isolate people from the truth. You can't tell them the truth. You can't tell them, not on my show. Look at the look on Colbert's face. Oh, stop. Look at the hands. Please. Now he's begging. You see the hand motions? Please stop. Please stop telling my audience the truth. I'm trying to isolate them from the truth. Folks, I was freaking banned from YouTube for fighting this fight. That wasn't cost-free to us either, but we weren't backing away. I didn't see, by the way, any of the grifter doomers who I drive absolutely crazy. I didn't see them fighting the fight. Matter of fact, a lot of them I tried to recruit into the fight. I remember talking to some of them who later became Folex MAGA, and they were like, no, I'm out. Total bullshitters. And then, of course, you got integrating the doomers and the nothing is happening Folex MAGA movement. They want you to believe nothing's happening. Of course, that's all they have, nothing's happening. They ignore the fact that this case has actually been going on for a while, due to the initiatives over there and the cleanup operation we instituted when we went over there. You can look it up at the DOJ yourself. I still see people, nothing is happening. Or do you read anything? Or are you just like, you take the doomers who lie about everything and the liberal media bullshit at face value? Put up the DOJ press release. I mean, you guys can read this yourself, you know. You just don't want to. They're adding to the nothing is happening file, folks. Nothing's ever happening with the doomers. Former senior NIAID official indicted for concealing federal records during COVID-19 pandemic. I thought nothing was happening. Now, there are a lot of complications with any case that may develop against Anthony Fauci because of the pardon. Donald Trump addressed that in the Oval Office. I'm going to get to that in a second. But first, Guy, can I give you the wink and the nod here? You see where I'm going with this? I know you've seen this 1,000 times, but it is so worth it. Do you ever see the Dave Chappelle skit on pleading the fifth? If you haven't seen this, this is worth a minute of your time. Check this out.
I plead the fifth.
Sir, will you tell us about the cartels you dealt with in your time as a crack cocaine dealer?
No, but I can tell you that I plead the fifth.
Exactly how much money did you earn in your time as a crack cocaine dealer?
I said there are so many amendments in the Constitution of the United States of America. I can only choose one. I can only choose one. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anything you say, fifth. Go ahead, ask me a question.
Did you?
Fifth. I have a secret document that I think you need to say.
That'll be all, sir. Good afternoon.
I know you've seen it. It went super nuclear on X. However, I was sitting here this morning doing the show rundown, and really, in Guy's defense, I did. I added like so much stuff before the show. We went right up till game time. That's why we were a little bit late. You need to see it again. Hey, man, it's everybody's right. Whatever, do your thing. I'm just saying, like, you were very, very open about defending bad decisions in the past, and there's volumes of material out there. Now, a ton of questions I saw on X this weekend. A lot of it was coming from, some of it was disingenuous. Some of it was from the nothing is happening crowd, but a lot of it wasn't. It was from like really concerned people who I totally understand. Like, hey, well, what can happen? Was there any violation of the law here? Well, we obviously run a constitutional republic. Everybody's entitled to the presumption of innocence. I hope we all understand that. However, he was given a pardon, Dr. Fauci, and Donald Trump was asked this specific question, President Trump, in the Oval Office. I want you to listen to the answer because there's an angle to this I'm not sure everybody understands, but I'll explain afterwards. Check this out.
Do you think that the DOJ should reopen the investigation into the auto pen, specifically pertaining to Fauci?
Well, the only thing you can really think about is the auto pen because the most powerful thing the president has, they say, is the power of pardon. So he was pardoned by Biden, and I respect that. I know how powerful it is. It's a very powerful, they say it's literally the most powerful thing a president has. Now, whether or not I sign my things directly, always, almost everything I sign directly. You're witness to many of them. He signed very few. The only thing I know that he signed was Hunter Biden's pardon, but I'm not sure that he signed, he probably didn't sign this one. So I can't tell you what the law is. I've heard that you have to have a lot of proof. You need to have letters. You need to have all sorts of things that the person operating the auto pen has to know exactly what it's all about. He didn't know what it was about because I saw him testify. So maybe there's something on the auto pen. Other than that, the power of pardon is very powerful.
So obviously President Trump addressing, the 800-pound gorilla in the room, that the pardon is a huge complication to any federal charges. However, again, I'm on the outside now. However, that does not eliminate the possibility if there were violations of state law. Forgive me, man. I'm not trying to in any way, please talk down to anyone. Some of you are going to say, well, obviously, people have lives and are really busy. They don't get to study this stuff. A federal pardon is only for federal charges. Anything involving state and local charges, the pardon doesn't mean anything. I've seen Governor DeSantis from Florida was on this morning talking about, it's the only reason I bring it up. It does not eliminate the possibility, if there were violations of the law at the state, local, territorial, tribal level, whatever it may be, we call them SLTTs. It does not eliminate the possibility there. So I wanted to add some commentary on it. Things are happening. They've been happening since we got there. Anyone telling you otherwise, again, it's just lying. But it's part of, as I said in the beginning, a demoralization op that is so obvious now. It's actually shocking to me that even some of the people taking part don't recognize it. All right, quick break, and I want to get back to this because there is a danger on the horizon here, right? Well, it's not even on the horizon. It's sitting in our freaking living room right now. This explosion in this DSA socialist movement that's leveraging Folex, MAGA, and others to join this coalition to destroy this country from the inside. We're going to expose them. Just listen to what they say. There were some interviews that came out this week that were so disturbing. I can't believe the Democrat Party en masse right now is like, hey, man, we got a problem. We got to address this. It's that bad. Some people are waking up, but not everyone. Hey, if you're a homeowner, you probably thought, should I call American credit card debt? Then you second guess yourself because of the low mortgage rate you currently have. Well, check this out. That low rate, it's not saving you if you're drowning in credit card interest at 25% or more. That's math nobody wants to face, but it's costing you thousands. Well, here's the truth. If you're only making minimum payments, that debt is going to follow you for years. That's why people are calling a great company called American Financing. They've been with us for a long time. They're saving customers an average of $800 a month by using their equity to finally break free from credit card debt. You owe it to your family to see what's possible. Check out American Financing. Listen to this. No upfront fees. There's no pressure. It costs you nothing to find out what you could save every month. And if you start today, you may be able to delay 2 mortgage payments. So call American Financing today. The number is 888-994-7660. Again, 888-994-7660, or you can visit them online. It is a .net address, americanfinancing.net/Bongino, americanfinancing.net/Bongino. Check them out. See what you can save today. Thank you, American Financing. Today's show also brought to you by Super Sure. Listen, when you sign your insurance policy for some of these brokers, that's the finish line. They shake your hand, they get their commission, and it's done. Well, it's not done for you. You may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. Your business runs all year, and so do the gaps and the risks. That's why I'm introducing you to Super Sure. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just buy a policy online. Super Sure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and for your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. What does it do? It translates your current policy into plain English so you can see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth and know what needs protecting. It's important. Go to supersure.com/Bongino, one super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. That's supersure.com/Bongino, supersure.com/Bongino. Consult with a licensed insurance producer to discuss coverage options for your specific business needs. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency. Thank you, Supersure. We appreciate it. Folks, Sean, thank you. Dwayne Swademeyer in the comments section. Sean did a great job. I love Sean, known him for a long time. He is the real deal. He's as nice in person as he is on the show. That is not a shtick, I promise you. And he, rocks a baseball hat. I ain't rock a baseball hat. It's not my thing. Only when I need to keep the sun out of my eyes. Don't miss his show premiering August 17th, 1 p.m. Eastern, rumble.com/Sean. Sean with an HSHAWN. So, folks, I get you're being bombarded with agitprop, agitating propaganda, some sponsored by foreign governments, some just, honestly, just tools of the, useful idiots, as they call them in the old Soviet architecture. You're getting bombarded every day. What they want you to do is they want you to not be transactional and spreadsheets and results oriented. They want you to be emotion focused only instead of problem solving focused. They don't want you to focus on solving problems. They don't, because then you would align with what's going on right now, largely with the Trump administration, which only, a year and a half in, the results are staggering. There's things we can fix. There's always things we can fix, but we've never, ever seen a success at the border, success on crime. This just explosion in the economy due to capital expenditures and elsewhere, investment in the economy. You're going to see which is going to pay off over time. They need you to focus on emotions. That is exactly what the left does. And that's how we've wound up with some in Folex MAGA leveraging Pete crazy. I put out a tweet this weekend when I was on vacation. It was really the only thing I posted outside of my daily tweet, which I've been doing for years, about how we're at this point right now. I read things on X that are so dumb and stupid. I read one particular thing this weekend that it would take you less than 10 seconds to refute it, and people don't do it. They just take it at face value. That's what liberals do and commies. They're told the rich don't pay any taxes. They don't ever look it up. It's not true. They don't look it up. They're saying black people can't get voter IDs. You can look that up, you know. Do black people have a hard time getting licenses? You can actually look that up. Jim Crow, all this other, they just rely on emotion. They don't want you to do any homework. Do not fall in that trap. This explains the recent momentum of the socialist movement in the United States. It relies on idiocy and isolation from the truth, like Stephen Colbert. Please don't tell them the truth on my show. Folks, some of this is going to turn out to be a gift to the conservative MAGA coalition, though. If we can align and refortify our castle walls and kick the intruders out and get back to just common sense. All you've got to do is play their own words to people and see how everything they talk about is not in any way results-oriented and is all emotion. I want you to check out this interview with Shannon Bream, with this DSA co-chair. This lady says some shit that's so freaking crazy. If you have any functioning neurons that use reason, like 3 + 3 = 6, you would see this stuff is nuts. But when you get people emotionally invested in it, police are shooting unarmed black men around. Man, we better defund them. That's crazy. It's like an assassination squad of ninjas. That's what they do, and that's how they get people to believe stupid stuff. Check this out.
If we talk about abolishing prisons, then, does that make society better? I mean, is there anybody that should be incarcerated? I mean, rapists, child predators, murderers?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the long-term plan, when we think about most people who are in prison, they are mostly in prison for crimes of poverty. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the really, like the murders and rapists of the world. So when we get rid of this need for crimes of poverty to exist, when we get rid of that destabilizing force that creates so many people who are living in desperate situations and doing desperate things, that brings those numbers down to very small numbers. And then we can collectively decide what we do with those people. I suspect it won't look like the prison system as we know it today.
Okay, but you do think some people need to be locked away from society?
Some people are not able to be functional members of society. That's true. But what does that look like to keep the rest of us safe? We're talking about safety. We're not talking about punishment. We're talking about making sure that we're safe, everybody maintains their dignity, and everybody maintains their humanity.
Notice this woman does not address the dignity of victims. When she's talking about we all need dignity, she's talking about the perps. Folks, this is going to be, if we can keep reason and logic pointed in the right direction, this is going to be an everlasting gift to the conservative MAGA movement, because this stuff, as I wrote in my post on X this weekend about Pete crazy and stupid stuff, the internet never forgets. People were like, oh, you're talking about censorship. Me? Are you freaking crazy? I've used my own funds to fund websites and video platforms where people go out and shit on me in the show all the time. What are you talking about? What I said is accurate. History will not be kind to people who lie on social media because it's out there. It's never going away. It's the reverse. Why go put it out there? Because as the truth comes out, you're going to look insane like this lady. Here was another one I saw, an interview with Dana Perino. Folks, these people say things like defund the police, and then they go on interviews with Fox News and other people later on when they're asked about it. Did you say defund the police? And what do? They're like, oh, no, don't believe me what I said in the past. Just believe what I'm saying now. So you have no integrity? I don't understand. I know what I fought for. I know what I did. These people are totally full of shit. Defund the police? You really believe this is a mainstream position? Here's a socialist candidate for governor in Wisconsin, of all places, which is not a deeply blue state. who's now running away from her own words. Believe me now, believe me then. What is it? What is it? Check this out.
Why shouldn't people take you at your word when you say that you want to defund the police and go towards abolishing it?
Dana, first of all, I have to say thank you so much for featuring my home state in your novel. And I believe that as a democratic socialist, what that means is that I would like to put working class people first over mega
How does defunding the police put working class people first?
Notice how she doesn't answer the question because she can't. She fully recognizes that in order to gaslight people into some stupid shit idea that defunding the police and letting criminals victimize, rape, murder, rob, assault people, burglarize their homes, she doesn't want any enforcement of that. So she can't answer that. So notice what she does. To gaslight, lie often, lie confidently. She has to isolate people from the truth. She can't tell the truth. So she just ducks the question completely. If you're a voter in Wisconsin, I want you to understand, this woman is one of two things and only one of two things. Well, maybe both. She's either a liar or she's crazy, or maybe a crazy liar. I said defund the police, but I didn't mean it, so I just lied to you, which she didn't. She's actually telling the truth. Or she's crazy. Imagine your daughter's walking to school one morning and some guy throws her in a van, rapes and murders her, and they want to defund the police. Who do you think's going to investigate it? Joey Bag of Donuts, the social worker? Are you freaking crazy? Put the crack pipe down. Folks, I want to tie this back to the beginning of the show. This is a demoralization op. There are people in Folex MAGA that are now trying to divide our movement that I promise you are going to adopt these exact same ideas. Flag it. I'm never wrong on this stuff. I've seen it. I've been in this business 10 years. You know how many people tried to chop us down? I've been there. Every billion-dollar media enterprises, huge, endless boycott campaigns funded by NGOs. It never works. We give them the middle double-barreled every single time because we're always right on this. It's the one show you can guarantee you play this episode back. You're going to see, oh, he called it. What did I talk about too? Or what have I talked about for the past decade? Cannibalism theory on the left. Folks, mark it, flag it, write it down, tattoo it on your brain. The left and Folex MAGA believe in cannibalism theory. You're seeing it on our side now with Folex fake MAGA. They can't, I said in the beginning of the show, they are only concerned about their individual little power base, them and their NGO, them and their local party, them and their money-making grift and their operation. They don't care about you. So what happens is, what happens with the left is when the right started to ignore them and cancel culture and told them to go pound sand and develop the parallel economy, which we were an integral part of, the left just got pissed off and started targeting their own people. Like, why did they target their own people? Because they just ran out of shit to do. The right started ignoring them. That's what you're seeing with Folex MAGA now. They will eventually start to eat themselves alive when they realize people like me are just going to flip them off. You want me to prove it to you again? Cannibalism Theory 101, example, exhibit 427.2. Scott Galloway is this big-time lefty. I've said to you before, to be fair, like his business commentary is actually quite good. I'm not going to smoke you up. But this guy, unbelievably, talks like a capitalist, a free marketeer, but then pretends he's a socialist. So this guy, Scott Galloway's on with useless Kara Swisher on this podcast. And he's like, hey, Mamdami's going to do this, tax on second homes in New York. Oh my God, I can't believe I was on the list. He released this basically doxing list. I can't believe I was on. What do you mean you can't believe it? I've warned you guys, you're next. You are always next. The left will eat itself alive and throw you overboard if you dare challenge them because cannibalism, have you seen that movie Alive? Cannibalism is what they do. Here's Scott Galloway, learning the hard way. Should have listened to my show. Check this out.
And I've been doxxed.
You've been doxxed? What? Tell me.
So I don't know if you've heard, but Mayor Mamdani has decided to release a list of the 950,000 residences with addresses and names that might be eligible for his pied-à-terre tax. I came out in favor of this tax. This is the definition. He's taken a legitimate source of tax revenue and he's turning it into a wanted poster. And the question I would have is, other than trying to identify and imply these people have done something wrong, and then 18 months after a healthcare CEO was executed in the street and then published the list, what is the upside here? Why is he doing this?
One of the gifts of socialism, is you're next, bro. Scott, listen, man. Again, I know we're not friends. That was Guy's video of the day. I'm glad you liked it, Guy. Look at the look on this guy's face. He can't believe he was next. I don't know you, man. I know we don't like each other. We never will. Your commentary on business is not crazy. Listen to yourself. I've been warning you about this forever. We have had to clean up our movement against Folex MAGA, and we've done it. We're working on it now. We've had a lot of success in primaries. You've got more people standing up. When are you guys going to do this, realizing you're next? I'm going to give you a little lesson, Scott. If you haven't read Solzhenitsyn's book, The First Circle, you can go get it on one of your favorite lefty sites, Amazon or elsewhere. In The First Circle, Alexander Solzhenitsyn, read the book. It is about exactly this, how all of these people in communist regimes, the scientists and the academics who promote it go, they'll never come for me. And then they find themselves in the gulag and they're like, holy Moses, I didn't realize I was next. Bro, you're next. I promise you're next. Folks, again, I'm not a fan of Bill Maher. I think we all understand he's probably not a fan of mine either. However, I am a fan of ideas. And when people finally start to speak out and warn them, there is a small, it's an almost like not yet hugely relevant movement trying to overcome the AOC Bernie agenda, but there is a small movement on the left that's starting to see a problem. Fetterman has been speaking out, Van Jones, Bill Maher, not friends of mine, not allies, but it's important we understand the left because they make no effort to ever understand us, and that's a huge mistake. We understand them. I go back to like the argument about Jonah Goldberg wrote a piece years ago about why we won the war on smoking, because everybody knew a smoker and they knew how to talk to him in that unique way. Your mom, your father, Mom, this is no good. And we knew like the soft spot. The left doesn't do that. It's why they constantly lose the war against the Second Amendment, because they don't understand gun owners, because they don't want to understand us. It's important for us to play clips like this so we get where they're going. Here's Bill Maher on his show warning the Democrats about this communist tyrannical movement. This tyrannical movement that's going to steal away everybody's rights and property, cannibalism theory. I think he understands he's next. Check this out.
And finally, new rule, Donald Trump has told 1 trillion lies, but when he says the Democratic Socialists of America are actually communist, that's not one of them. And it's not hard to prove it just by quoting the DSA and their candidates, because not a week goes by where I don't read about some newly chosen, exciting new face in the Democratic Party. And then when that face opens its mouth, the Communist Manifesto or some other crazy shit comes out. Again, let's just read the quotes. The DSA platform says you work as much as you are able and no more than needed. If that was any closer to Karl Marx's dictum, from each according to his abilities to each according to his needs, they'd be sued for plagiarism. One of the new soon-to-be Democratic Congresspeople, Darlisia Chevalier, supports seizing all properties from landlords and said, seize the means of production. Mendami has said the end goal is seizing the means of production. I think they want to seize the means of production. Now, maybe you missed that in school or missed school altogether, but that's communism. Yes, my vote is in play. I'm not voting for anyone who thinks the wrong side won the Cold War or cheers for the Intifada like it's the World Cup. It's so ironic from the people who obsess about colonization. You know what's being colonized now? The Democratic Party.
Folks, he's not kidding. He is not kidding. I think he understands he's next. Just like Scott Galloway just learned the hard way. You're next in this system. And the Folex MAGA people are doing the same thing by aligning in this unholy alliance, hat tip David Horowitz, with the Islamo fanatics. Why? Folex. Good job, fellas. Folex MAGA. It's true. We got to watch to sell you in Times Square, $25. It's a Folex. Did you say roll it for Folex? They're selling you a bunch of bullshit because all they're interested in is power. They don't care about taxes. They don't care about healthcare. They don't care about education, regulatory reform, the Second Amendment. They don't care about this. No, they really want to take. They don't hate guns. They love guns as long as they're pointing them at you. Don't tell me they hate guns. How the hell do you think the Soviets and the Nazis took power? Sending freaking Hallmark cards? As long as the barrels are pointed in the right direction, they love guns. All they give a shit about is power, man. Look at this Atlantic article. We need to abolish the Senate. This is a DSA platform thing. This is what the socialists want. Why would they? The Atlantic, I'll get to that in a second even more. But these people are nuts. Why would you want to get rid of a democratically elected body that's supposed to represent the people in a constitutional republic? Because they don't represent the people and they don't really give a shit about democracy. Abolishing the Senate might be the DSA's best idea. They talk about, social democracy, democratic socialism. They don't give a shit about democracy. They care about the gun barrels being pointed at you, man. They will trot out any stupid idea where any rational person using sound logic and reason would see right through it. And they just hope their liberal media and Folex MAGA people will parrot it and isolate you from the truth about the stupidity of said idea. Here's a perfect example. And I want to move on to the most important part of the show, showing you the demoralization op here. Here is the dumbest thing I've heard in a really long time from this absolute zero up in New York, Kami Mamdani. He wants a government supermarket. A government supermarket like what? Like the Soviet Union and the bare shelves? So reporters are starting to ask questions like, if you're going to basically give away food for a non-market clearing price, in other words, if whatever, a couple apples is $1, it doesn't matter, I'm just using kind of round numbers. The government's like, no, we don't like that they're $1 because pricing them isn't fair. So what we're going to do is we're going to tell you to come into the government store, we're going to sell them for 50 cents. They're not worth 50 cents, they're worth $1. So why wouldn't someone just come in, buy whatever, 5 apples for $1, doesn't really matter, and then go on eBay and sell them for $1, making 50 cents. Mamdani's like, I don't really know. We never really thought about that. But he said, watch his flack. And then they're asked another question. What's to stop people from coming in from New Jersey and buying underpriced, essentially price ration groceries from people in New York who were subsidized this through the taxes? Oh, we're going to use ID. So why would you need ID? I don't understand. Well, we need ID to make sure people are from New York City who are buying New York City subsidized, taxpayer-funded groceries. But you don't need ID to vote to make sure that people are from New York City voting for a New York City candidate. Again, if you have a functioning neuron, none of this makes any sense. But sense isn't part of it. This is voluntary stupidity. Watch this clip. Check this out.
How are you going to keep people from taking advantage of that, that deal, basically? And is there going to be a limit on the number of items that someone can take that are discounted at that level from that essential basket?
So our RFP makes very clear that this is a program for New Yorkers to be able to put food on the table, not a program for people to be able to make a quick buck through reselling. I'm going to pass it over to our EDC head, Jeannie Pack, to add some additional details.
Yes, if you look at our RFP for the operator, we are looking to make sure that we target New Yorkers, whether it be at sort of a library card-esque, and also we manage who's buying and that is focused on everyday New Yorkers. So we are mindful of that, and so we're going to make sure that we have all the things in place to ensure that that does not happen.
Folks, this has never worked. Please, to the younger folks listening, if you could control a price artificially, human beings would have already done it. What is something pretty much everyone wants? A new computer, everybody has a phone, right? Everybody likes a new phone, correct? Does anyone not want a new phone? if they were giving them away for free. So why can't we just control the price and say, you know what, the latest iPhone's going to be $100? Because it's not worth $100. It's worth more than that. Why? Because other people are willing to pay more than that. And no one's going to produce a product and lose money on it. Is this not common sense? When you institute a price control, which Mamdani's trying to do on food or anything else, what do you get? You get increased demand for the product. People from New Jersey and Connecticut are going to flood in. Why would I spend $1 for 5 apples if I can spend 50 cents in New York? So you get increased demand. People will flood the grocery stores. What do you get? Decreased supply. Why? Because people are flooding the grocery store to buy things cheaper than they're actually worth on the market. So you run out, which is why you get bare shelves. You get quality problems because the supermarket's not in the profit-seeking enterprise arena, so nobody cares about working there. You get crap all over the floors, dirty bathrooms, bare shelves. And then you get black markets because smart people are just going to turn around and sell the 5 apples on whatever, joeybagaddonutsgroceries.com, and sell them for $1, making 50 cents on every one, at the cost of New York City taxpayers who bought and subsidized the food for free. Is this hard to figure out? This is basic math, bro. This is not hard. Peter St. Onge noted this. We've had him on the show. He's fantastic. Focuses on economic stuff in a tweet. You have ID for grocery stores, but not ID to vote. I thought you don't need ID. You could just trust them. The unstoppable force, he notes, of losing 28 cents on the dollar feeding New Jersey is about to collide with the immovable fact that ID is, quote, racist. I thought we could trust people. They show up at the voting booth. They said who they were. That's enough. So why can't we trust people when they're trying to feed themselves? Let's use emotion. Hey, Guy, let's use emotion and not reason. People are starving, man. They're trying to feed themselves in the store. You're going to ask them about a racist ID? I thought black people couldn't get ID. Andy, black people are going to starve. They told us they can't get ID, correct? Black and Hispanic people are all going to die. It's so racist, right, Guy? It's so racist. Poor black people are going to show up. You just told us, Democrats. It's like Jim Crow. Jim Crow in the supermarket. It's Jim Crow for apples. I thought you just told us that. Black people can't get it. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Folks, you have to divorce yourself from reason to believe this stupid shit. You sell anything from apples to a Corvette for under the price people are willing to pay it, everybody's going to want one. You're going to run out. Nobody's going to make any profit. They're going to stop producing it. And you're going to get a wicked-ass black market. It's only happened every single time. Mamdani knows this, of course. He's just isolating you from the truth. It's the same reason rent control doesn't work. You can sublet an apartment in New York. People go, oh, I'm rent controlled. What's this apartment on the open market? $5,000. I'm rent control for $2,500. But I'll tell you what, I don't need to live there. I'll sublet it to you and then pocket the $2,500 difference when you give me $5,000. Anyone ever, you don't know, anyone, folks in the chat, anyone from New York ever sublet an apartment from a rent controlled tenant? Yes. There's a whole black market. They lie to you all the time. They lie to you about taxes too, because they don't care about taxes. Just like they don't care about the Second Amendment. They only care about the Second Amendment because you have the guns. We hate guns. Guns kill. Give them all to us so we can shoot you and turn the barrels in the other direction. They don't care about taxes either. St. Onge notes, for the socialists dreaming of the Scandinavian, Swedish taxation model, that means cutting taxes on the rich in half. Really? It does? While hiking them 3 times on everyone else until they pay half their salary. St. Onge is right. We want to be more like Norway and Sweden with taxes. Okay, then the middle class need to pay 3 times more. No, you can look this up. Look at this chart on the screen now. Just do some homework, stupid libs in Folex MAGA. Folex MAGA is now doing the same thing. Billionaires, they sound like freaking Bernie Sanders. Look at this. The United States, the top 1%, pay 6% of taxes there. But income tax as a group is a share of the entire economy. It's important. Denmark, 3%. Sweden, 2.5 to 3. Norway, 3 to 4. Wait, they pay less, the rich in Scandinavia? Yes. Look at what everyone else pays as a percentage of GDP. 8.8% in the United States. That's you, a lot of middle-class folks out there. In Denmark, Sweden, and Norway, they pay 26 to 28%, 24 to 26, and 23 to 25%. You can just look this up, man, but you don't have to. I just helped you. Wait, I thought they said they want to be more like Scandinavia. Yeah, that means hiking taxes on the middle class. You don't think Mamdani knows this? He's hoping you don't. He's hoping you're stupid. He's hoping you engage in an act of voluntary ignorance. He's hoping you never look this up. Just like the doomers and grifters and bullshitters on X, who tell you the dumbest of things that would take you less than 5 seconds to look up yourself. Folks, I want to show you a clip coming up in a second. Did you see this Indiana Fever head coach in the WNBA? What does the W stand for? What does the W stand for? Women, what is it, like wildebeest or something? What is the W? I thought you don't know what that is. What does the W stand for? That's actually a good segue. He's like, speaking of fever, do you have a fever? You'll be knocking on the pharmacy door. You'll be knocking on the pharmacy door. And you know what? If it's closed, you're not going to get an answer. That was good. That was good. Use who I use, All Family Pharmacy. It was nice. I've actually been stealing your thunder. You brought it back. Hey, you know what I've learned over the years? The harder something is to navigate, the more likely it is that people just give up. And that's exactly what's happening with healthcare. That's one of the reasons I use and recommend All Family Pharmacy. We're always looking for ways for you to get medications you need simpler, faster, and with less frustration. They've added a feature I think you're really going to like. Instead of searching only by medication name, you can now search by the condition yourself. That's fantastic. Whether it's a sinus infection, respiratory illness, allergies, even everyday maintenance medications, they'll guide you to the treatment options commonly used for those conditions. Everything's reviewed by a licensed U.S. physician and pharmacist, so you're getting trusted information, not guesswork. Just complete a secure medical form. It's really that easy. And one of their licensed doctors will review it. And if appropriate, write your prescription. Then your medication shipped right to the door. You don't have to wait. I use them. Check them out. They've been fantastic to me. Thank you for the medications you sent before I went on the boat trip. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino10 to save 10%, or call 561-717-6794 and speak with a real person who can answer your questions. Again, allfamilypharmacy.com/Bongino, code Bongino10. Prescription required. Always consult a medical professional before taking any medication. This is not medical advice. Thank you, All Family Pharmacy. We appreciate it. Great segue by Guy, stealing his thunder back. Folks, listen to me. This is how they get you to believe stupid shit. Like, we want to be social democrats, social democracy, democratic socialism like Scandinavia, where the middle class get rinsed every single day on the tax rate. All you had to do was look it up. They need to isolate you from the truth, like Stephen Colbert and others. Masks work. It wasn't a lab leak. It was a pangolina. If they don't isolate you from the truth, neurons are going to fire, and you'll be like, that just sounds dumb. Did anyone in human history who had a functioning brain and more than 2 neurons that connected in a neural network ever question what the difference between a man and a woman is? What's a woman? It's a human adult female. This really isn't hard, man. You got this growing controversy. I've spent a lot of time in the culture wars. However, the Sophie Cunningham thing, the Caitlin Clark, the WNBA, what the hell does the W stand for? Welcome that? Like, are you idiots? Here's the coach for the Indiana Fever. I don't really know. Taking the Ketanji Brown-Jackson approach. I'm not really read in on the data. Holy Moses, figure it out. You don't know the difference between a woman and a man? Check this stupidity out.
What is your stance on men or athletes who test as biological male participating in women's sports? What's your personal stance?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I would say that I'm educated enough from a scientific standpoint. I don't ever believe that exclusion is an answer. I just don't. I do think, when we think about various levels of sport, various governing bodies of sport and things that go into that. Like I said, I'm not educated enough at the different levels.
Oh my, what the? Folks, this is what I mean by we're really living in peak stupid. There's no bigger free speech advocate than me. I actually think it would be an abomination to try to ban these people from saying stupid shit. But we need more Paul and Paulette Revere's out there to be like, hey, man, this is really dumb. It's the WNBA, and you don't believe in exclusion? Producer Andy had a great idea this morning. He goes, Dan, we only need one. I go, what do you mean, man? What do you mean we only need one? He goes, I think a retired NBA, it doesn't even have to be a good NBA player. Imagine if it was a retired, maybe in their like 60s or something. NBA, the male one. They don't need the MNBA because everybody just understood before the peak stupid era reached. You just need one to say, hey, I'm a woman now. Everyone to divorce themselves from reality, say, we believe you. And I thought, Andy, that's a great idea. Remember that movie, Uncle Drew? You ever see Uncle Drew? Freaking hilarious. Kyrie Irving, Reggie Miller. It's a really funny movie. I saw this thing on a plane. I watched it like 3 times in a row. I was on some overseas flight. We don't need Uncle Drew. We should have Uncle Drew, any retired NBA player. He didn't even have to be good. That's Kyrie Irving. It doesn't even have to be him. It can be some like bench warmer. They should come back as Anna Andrea. Why not? Maybe you're 55, 60, you got bad knees, and it's co-equal, right? Well, why not? I guarantee you, by the way. Did you ever see that video of the WNBA superstar getting smoked by like a 16-year-old high school guy? Did you ever see that video? Why not have a 55-year-old who's like, hey, man, I'm having a hard time. I don't have a TV contract. I'm not really getting any sponsorships anymore. I think I want to go play in a WNBA. Just pull in Anna Andrea. I mean, the Indiana Fever coach said we don't want to exclude anybody, and I don't really know the difference anyway. Have them whip out a unit in a locker room. Hey, look at me. I got a third leg. Check that out. Why not? Anna Andrea. Maybe you could do a sequel to the movie. Uncle Drew 2, Anna Andrea. It'd be a great story. By the way, that would be the greatest movie ever. Didn't like the Daily Wire do a movie like that or something? Do you realize this is what peak stupid looks like? Lee's in the chat. Yeah, someone said Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman, yes. He'd come back and be Denise Rodman. And how old can you look that up? Josh, how old is Dennis Rodman? I guarantee you he'd be the league MVP. Guaranteed. Is he 60 yet? Dennis Rodman would be perfect. He's probably not even a 55. He's older than me. 60, holy Moses, 65. He should do it. Start a petition. Get Dennis Rodman back. Yes, he could even, that's right. Remember that? He could even bring Kim Jong-un with him. The fat guy, he'd probably do okay. Fat dictator guy. It's like Fat Barney. Folks, that's it. That's the story. That was soccer, right? A Dallas under 15 boys team beat the U.S. women's national team in a scrimmage. I thought there's no difference. Nobody should be excluded. Why are we even? This is obviously common sense, but this is what peak stupid looks like. Folks, please do not fall prey to what the commie left has done to their side. Everything they say to people on taxes, healthcare, education, voter ID is bullshit, and suckers fall for it because they get them into an emotional state where they can't use their freaking neurons. Please don't fall for full-X MAGA. Nothing's happening. Everything sucks. The world's falling apart. Trump sucks. Vance sucks. Rubio sucks. Everybody sucks them. It's weird because they don't do jack shit but complain. You notice they never propose any actual fix to a problem? And when problems are fixed, they move on to another one? Do not ever dump results in exchange for emotion. I want to show you another one. Because again, I saw this from the inside. The demoralization op is so clear. Don't miss this next segment. I'm going to show you exactly how the lib commies and full-X MAGA spout the exact same talking points. I want to show you, this is Anna Kelly, spokesperson for the White House. She's put this out. And I guarantee you, pay attention to full-X MAGA. These are incredible numbers. But some good news for your feed. President Trump is making America safe again, just like he promised. Crime plummets to another historic low under President Trump. I guarantee you, flag it, mark it, write it down, tattoo it on your skull. I guarantee you, full-X MAGA. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about that. No, you don't care about that. You don't care about that. People who live in shitty neighborhoods where their daughters and sons are being burglarized and robbed on the way to school and getting their asses kicked by gang members, I promise they care. I promise you they care. You don't care. I go out in public and I'm telling you, like, you have to touch grass. X, I hate that thing, X isn't real life. No, X is real life. There are real people on there. Believe me when I tell you, Twitter is absolutely no accurate representation of the real world. I promise. If you think it sounds crazy over there on X, hence my post this week, that's because it is. It's faux MAGA, AstroTurf, bot army bullshit. Period. And everybody on the inside who knows what's up knows it. Here's Polymarket throwing up the homicide rate, dropping yet again. No, this doesn't matter. I promise if you're freaking dead, it matters. Just in, White House reveals U.S. homicides fell 18% in the first half of 2026, in addition to the historic drop last year, putting the country on pace for its lowest murder level in at least 126 years. It doesn't matter. Nothing's happening. You see the op? There's another thing going on with these Trump accounts. Another just unbelievable, just a fantastic idea to get people invested in the economy by, if we're going to do a retirement system, then let people control their own money. You're going to see again, the watch Folex MAGA and the left shit all over these Trump accounts. Like, no. This is just going to distract from Social Security. Social Security is going bankrupt. You want to save Social Security? Don't let this next generation take the money that the older folks had paid in. That's the way to save it. Here's Scott Besson talking about the popularity of this. Watch Folex MAGA and the left start to attack these accounts as they start to explode in value with this AI revolution. Check this out.
Trump accounts are the most successful program launch in government history. We had 7 million families sign up with them. We're going to get to open enrollment, and we will have 70 million families who have signed up to this. 38% of American families, households, had no social rate equity market. And thanks to you, we're going to have an ownership society. An ownership society. You were one of the first presidents to create such American people not more debt. We had the biggest tax refund season ever. Trade deals, tax cuts, energy dominance, and regulatory efforts. America is ushering in the greatest reshoring wave in our history.
Watch them try to engage in a demoralization op on this going forward because they hate results. They're only invested in emotions. Folks, no issue matters to them. Only power matters. They don't care about taxes, guns, healthcare. Yeah, they do. They don't. I promise they will flip on a dime. They love guns as long as they have them shooting at you. They love low taxes as long as they're fighting for assault deduction for blue state donors in the Northeast. They're literally fighting for richer folks. I'm not knocking it. I don't want anyone to pay more taxes. I'm just telling you. I just had a guy tell me in New Jersey at the wedding, man, thank God they got that deduction, the SALT deduction. It's for largely wealthy and upper middle class folks. I'm not knocking you. I'm just saying, like, the left is full of shit. They don't care about any issue other than issues that get them power. That's why they combine with Folex MAGA for this massive demoralization op. Some of the stuff they say is so stupid. I saw this week. They use the same talking points, the exact same ones. Anyone who doesn't hate evangelicals, Protestants, Jews, and anyone who celebrates the results of the Trump administration while still talking realistically about other things we need to fix is not welcome in the demoralization op. That's the only two criteria you need to be part of that. You have to be full of hate and rage, and everything has to suck all the time. I want to show you how they use the same talking points. Put up Stewie Thompson. Stewie Thompson, he's a New York Times guy. He has a very bizarre, like, boiling bunny type obsession with this. Stewie, you may want to, hit the steel a little bit. Like, go get yourself like one of those old, like, 1970s Jack LaLanne machines or something. Do a pull-up. I don't know. Stewie Thompson has a very bizarre obsession with yours truly, but has two thumbs, and Stewie Thompson has an obsession with this guy right here. He does it. The MAGA media machine is fracturing. Josh, again, this is story number 4,226. It's over, folks. The MAGA media machine is done. It is right. It was this hilariously stupid story where Stuart Thompson, by the way, he's like, oh my gosh, views are down after the presidential election. Views are down after the presidential. You mean like views go down on sports shows like a week after the Super Bowl? You don't know this? Folks, you see the demoralization op? Of course, he includes our show in there. And he's like, man, these guys before the election were doing like 100,000 plus live streams, which was kick ass. No shit, it was a presidential election season. And he's like, hey, he's really low on YouTube views. That's because there's no video on YouTube, you stupid ass. It's an audio show on a video program. We just put it up there as a courtesy. Josh is like, I can't with these dipshits. Stuart Thompson, I'll get back to him in a second. But notice how they settle on a talking point. I want to remind you that pre-FBI, when I was out highlighting all these controversies and stories that we went in and worked and busted our asses on, contrary to what the dipshittery class tells you, who've done nothing, sitting on their ass, sitting there throwing popcorn from the sidelines, that we highlighted all these problems and went in and focused on them. Not all of the results are public yet, but they will be. But they will be. I don't need any trust me, bro, because you'll see it yourself. Some of these things take a little bit of time. Time isn't always your friend, but they take time for a reason. I saw this over in The Atlantic, another left-winger, just like The Atlantic, just like the New York Times. PP hoax bullshit papers. This lady, Helen Lewis, it was probably an embarrassment to her family. They probably changed their last names just to avoid any association with this absolute moron. Helen Lewis at The Atlantic put this up this week. It's the exact same talking points. It's an article called Joe Rogan's New British Crush. Here we go. Epstein. This is they settled on this as like the only thing they have. This is all they want you to talk about. They don't want you to believe in any of the public corruption stuff, focus on that, the crime stuff, none of that. Witness the awful spectacle of Kash Patel and Dan Bongino trying and failing to convince MAGA influencers that they've looked at the Epstein files and they realized they were no big deal. Wow. Do you remember that? They were no big. That's crazy. They were no big deal. Now, Helen Lewis, of course, who's as dumb as a box of pet rocks, could have actually done, 10 seconds of homework. But because she's trying to gaslight you, and then Folex MAGA, of course, has to pick up on it. So they distract you from the real world. They need a black cloud following you all the time. They actually could have put in those words in the Google machine. Did Dan Bongino say the Epstein files were no big deal? So weird. Like if you just put those exact words you used, Helen, I'm sorry about, your family trying to divorce you. You would get articles like this. Does it say that anywhere? Has anybody said that? You guys are a little slow on the take. Like when I say this, it means like pop it up or something. Like your computer having a problem. You could have just put those exact words in there and you'd see in the New York Post and the New York Times and elsewhere that we actually said quite the opposite. No, that's okay. Now I'm busting his rocks, but that's why you were doing that. I'm wondering what he's doing over there. AI overview. No, Dan Bongino did not say the Epstein files were no big deal. Rather, he previously called the Jeffrey Epstein case a big deal and one of the biggest political scandals of our time. Well, what did Dan say when he got in there? Because again, you see how they pick up on the same demoralization talking points? The exact same ones. Do you have that New York Post piece? Well, you guys having like a computer issue or something like that? Oh, there you go. You could have put the exact words, according to Susie Wiles, the chief of staff, the people that really appreciate what a big deal this is are FBI Director Kash Patel and his deputy, Dan Bongino. Like it's the exact words, man. She could have looked that up, but you see how it's this demoralization talking about. And by the way, This is not about me. Yeah, that's the exact opposite. This is not about me. This is going to afflict everyone in the Trump team, from JD to anyone with the Trump name on down, as the Folex MAGA operation attempts to demoralize and divorce you from the results. Put up that New York Times one, too. It's even a New York Times. It's Stewie Thompson's own newspaper, who had to acknowledge the two top FBI officials, Patel and Bongino, had been pushing for a much broader release of the Epstein material after finding little in the files that added to what was already widely known about the president's interaction with Mr. Epstein. Isn't that so weird? It's almost like people who hate my guts, the New York Times and others, had to acknowledge that everything Helen Lewis said, she just made up. No one ever tried to convince you of that. We busted our ass on that. There were a lot of disagreements about that, but disagreements happen in D.C. all the time. You see how like the Folex MAGA and the liberal people use the exact same talking points? Freaking incredible, man. Folks, they want someone to get hurt over this. There have already been, I don't even want to get into it. Forget it. But I'm just telling you right now, there's going to be more violence over this, as they continue to gin people up and tell them fairy tales like, oh, those guys were trying to hide something from you. There's going to be more. Notice I didn't say there's going to be one. I said there's going to be more. There's a lot of stuff out there you don't know. Folks, but they already lost. They already lost. They're so desperate to make shows like this and Steven Crowder's show on Rumble. They're so desperate to make those shows go away because Crowder and I both don't play this game. We don't play the we hate Protestants, evangelicals, and Jews. We don't play the whole doomerism bullshit game. We just give it a realistic approach. And they're so dying to make this go away that they align to try to crush these shows. So I just decided to go to Grok because Stuart Thompson has a bug in his ass for me. The guy's obsessed with me. He's going to like show up at my house and knock at the freaking door soon. I think I have much to worry about with the look of that loser. However, I said, hey, Grok, give me a little kind of rundown of my, if what he said and our reach is so small, we're so insignificant, then one, why do you keep writing about us? And second, is any of that actually true? So I just put this in Grok. Who has a greater reach combined across podcasting, socials, and other platforms? Dan Bongino, moi, or Stuart Thompson from the New York Times? I mean, if his voice is so powerful and ours sucks so bad, then surely he's got a platform himself, right? Dan Bongino has a vastly greater combined personal reach across podcasting, social media, and other platforms than Stuart Thompson of New York. You understand, Stewie hates this. He thinks he's like a European aristocrat. He really does, that you need to listen to him because he's so smart because he works for the New York Times. He's embarrassed that we keep kicking his ass and nobody reads his article outside of me highlighting it. The Dan Bongino Show ranks among the top podcasts in major charts, blah, blah, blah. You get the point. There's the historical, the radio stuff, whatever. You get the point. You can put it in yourself. Point is to show you, not about me. It's about how little reach Stuart Thompson has. That's why they write these articles. Now he's like, listen, their audience is down post-presidential election. No shit. You just learned there's this thing called summer and a post-election political cycle. You just figured that out and you write for the New York Times? So I just threw in, we don't even need to throw in ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT, does consumption of political content on these various platforms peak around presidential elections? Yes. Across virtually every major platform, of course it goes up. It goes up every time. Notice how Stewie frames this thing? He associates summer season where people are on vacation and a post-election cycle where the numbers are always going to be down. It's like Super Bowl content after the Super Bowl. Notice how he tries to make you believe MAGA's falling apart, Crowder's falling apart. He even mentions other people. Shapiro's fallen. Everybody's falling apart. We do millions of views a week. We fill a stadium every day at 10 o'clock in the morning. And little Stewie Thompson is trying to associate that with a demoralization op. By the way, hat tip Steven Crowder. Here's why Stewie Thompson's also jealous. On election night, We basically really kicked almost everyone's ass. The New York Times and everyone asked ChatGPT, who had the top 5 largest live stream audiences on election night 2024 on Rumble and YouTube? Fox News is number 1. NBC News number 2. Dan Bongino show number 3. Remember that, Key? Little old Dan Bongino show. Little low budget Dan Bongino show beat $1 billion enterprises, 515,000. Oh, look who's right after that. Steven Crowder, Rumble, 460. By the way, he had more than that. That doesn't even factor in his YouTube. You see why now they want to demoralize you with Folex MAGA? They want you to start to burn the house down from the inside. Show's failing, guys. Don't put that on Barrett Media. Oh my God, but that's clearly on Dan Bongino, Ben Shapiro, top 15 podcast, whatever. They have to try to destroy the place from the inside. And we're not going to let it happen. All right, did you guys pick a comment of the day today? You know about our contest, the 1776 Club. Here is the context of the contest. If you want to win, you just have to join the show every day live, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We will pick a comment of the day, Bongino.com/1776 for the full rules. The comment of the day today is, no, let's do the winner next. We'll announce the winner because I was out last week from the week before. No, let's do the comment of the day today first, and then we'll do the winner from a couple weeks ago. The Dr. Dread that Joey Bag of Donuts has his filthy mitts into everything Joey Bag of D does. He is in everything. Taxes, the economy, healthcare. He's all robbing banks. You name it. Joey Bag of Donuts is there. Congratulations to Dr. Dread winning the comment of the day. You'll be entered into our weekly stakes, and we will pick a winner, and we will announce it in a couple weeks. And the winner from a couple weeks ago who will get $1,776 from our team here is... So enjoy the fireworks. So right outside the studio. Those are real, of course. Mystical 111122. Lucy hates communism. Lucy, of course, is my dog. And yes, she does. Clearly, Mystical was listening to the show when I said, whenever you give Lucy a treat, what does she do? Even though she knows it's me who loves her to death, I give her these apple yogurt, little whatever, treat things. She runs to her little den area and hides it because Lucy doesn't believe in Fat Barney sharing his care. Lucy doesn't do that either. Even dogs understand communism is for morons. And Lucy's not a moron. She's smarter than a lot of communists and a lot of Folex MAGA people. Wow, it was a long show today. Folks, thank you again for tuning in. It is great to be back with you. I really appreciate it. Again, we got Sean Farish launching August 17th. Bongino.com/Sean, where you will find all of his links, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Rumble, YouTube, all of it. Sean Farish, Sean with an H, SHAWN. You got Haley every day at noon, rumble.com/Haley. Vince Colonnese every morning at 8 a.m., rumble.com/Vince. He's out this week, but he's got some guest hosts, including Sean, right? So check that out. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you back here tomorrow at 10 a.m. Download the Rumble app. Watch on the web, rumble.com/Bongino. Click that follow button. We really appreciate it. See you back here tomorrow.
The news moves fast, but the truth should not get lost in the chaos. I'm Sean Farish, and this is Sean Farish Live. Each episode brings you the biggest political stories of the day, common sense analysis, sharp humor, nobody does a better job, everybody's talking about it, and straightforward conversations about the issues shaping America's future. From Washington to the culture wars, from breaking news to the rising stars in the movement to save our country, we will cover what matters most and why. If you're tired of the spin, the fake news, the phonies, and the losers, and you're ready for informed, entertaining commentary that gets straight to the point, you are in the right place. Catch the show live on Rumble weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time and subscribe anywhere you get your podcasts. I'm so excited to have you along for the ride. Thank you for your attention to this matter.